Tick-tock goes the clock, and of course we're fast approaching the 15th of October deadline set out by Prime Minister Boris Johnson, by which time there needs to be a deal in the offing coming up with the European Union. Otherwise, Boris has said that the UK will presume no deal, WTO, and move on. Now, a UK government source with some scathing words when it comes to the EU, slamming them running down the clock. Going to bring you all the very latest on this, guys. But if you could please start off, of course, by making sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell so you don't miss future reports. Lots going on. It's going to be all here on the West Monster channel for you. I don't want you to miss any future videos. Yes, so the Telegraph's Brussels correspondent James Crisp sort of summing up this comment from a UK government source saying, kaboom, shots fired by Brits after EU diplomats snipe, not enough progress made in talks. UK government source quoted as saying the EU have been using the old playbook in which they thought running down the clock would work against the UK. They have assumed that the UK would be more willing to compromise the longer the process ran, but in fact all these tactics have achieved is to get us to the middle of October with lots of work could have been done, left undone. The UK government source saying this is all the more frustrating because it is clear that we have come a long way since the beginning of the year. We have approached the negotiations constructively and reasonably, but time is now extraordinarily short. Finishes off by saying we need the EU to urgently up the pace and inject some creativity. Seemingly, Boris still sticking to that 15th of October deadline by which he wants to know if a deal is doable. Now, a few other bits worth highlighting here. The Express reporting that the Brexit deadline has been snubbed by the EU, something I previously highlighted on this story as well, that quite frankly they don't seem to give a monkeys that Boris Johnson set that 15th of October deadline. They're not taking it seriously. And is Boris actually going to hold to it here, or is he going to let things drift on, into November or even December? But the Express saying Barnier ignores Boris' demand as no deal looms. Michel Barnier instead vowing to work on a Brexit deal over the coming days and weeks, despite Boris Johnson's deadline of that 15th of October to clinch an agreement. Michel Barnier, of course, the EU's chief negotiator, tweeting today that he was at the General Affairs Council with Maros Sefcovic. He's the EU representative who got short shrift from Michael Gove, you might remember, when it comes to the UK internal market bill. Barnier saying that they're briefing EU ministers on the state of play of negotiations and the implementation of the withdrawal agreement. Barnier saying that strong EU unity confirmed ahead of the European Council and that the EU will continue to work for what they call a fair deal in the coming days and weeks. Of course, we know, and we'll talk about fisheries in a bit, but we know the level playing field, guys, if you're not familiar. The EU seeking to limit, to stop, to stifle Brexit competitive advantage by putting in a load of restrictions and getting the UK to sign up to EU rules. Because, of course, on the one hand, they say there's no benefits of Brexit on the EU side. On the other hand, they want the UK to sign up to a load of rules so we can't get competitive advantage. That must be absolutely and comprehensively rejected by Lord Frost and Boris Johnson. Now, the Express also quoting EU sources. With one diplomat saying there is some movement here and there on the deal, but it is not sufficient by far. A second source saying nothing much moves on critical issues like level playing field, governance, enforcement measures, fisheries. There has still not been enough progress. There is no tunnel in sight. Michel Barnier has the full support from the EU 27. Germany once again warning that substantial progress needs to be made to avoid what they describe as the worst case scenario of a no-deal Brexit. We've had Europe Minister Michael Ross. As we see an increasing sense of panic on the EU side, we even saw one report with European briefings that they want Boris Johnson to pick up the phone so that the EU get the deal that they want. Europe Minister Michael Roth quoted today saying, frankly speaking, we are at a critical stage of the negotiations. We are extremely under pressure. Time is running out. And saying they expect substantial progress by our friends in the UK in key areas, in particular governance, the level playing field and fisheries. We're saying he said that they are well prepared for both scenarios. Everybody should know that. No deal he described as the worst case scenario. And he said that they're working hard on a good deal, on a sustainable deal, which is acceptable for both sides. And I just want to remind you, in terms of the 15th of October deadline, keep it in your mind. This is what Boris Johnson said. This is absolutely emphatic. He said that you have been very clear about the deadline. I am too. There needs to be an agreement with our European friends by the time of the European Council on 15th of October if it's going to be enforced by the end of the year, of course the transition period at the end of the year. Boris went on to say there is no sense in thinking about timelines that go beyond that point. If we can't agree by then, and then I do not see there will be a free trade agreement between us, and we should both accept that and move on. We will then have a trading arrangement with the EU like Australia's. I want to be absolutely clear, Boris said. As we have said right from the start, this would be a good outcome for the UK. As a government, we are preparing at our borders, at our ports, to be ready for it. And he concluded by saying, and Boris went on to say, we'll have full control over our laws, our rules, and our fishing waters. We will have the freedom to do trade deals with every country in the world, and we will prosper mightily as a result. In terms of what the government is saying today, the Prime Minister's spokesman quoted as saying, we will work as hard as we can if we can get an agreement by October the 15th. The EU themselves indicated to the UK negotiating team in July that mid-October was the last possible moment for a deal. We are committed, the government spokesman has said, to working hard this week to bridge the gaps that remain, in particular on fisheries and the level playing field. But just to show you, and again I've highlighted this before, the French position seemingly is to maintain the status quo on fisheries. It is unbelievable that this is still seemingly the negotiating position on the French side, on the EU side. The Telegraph with a story, Emmanuel Macron will show no weakness during tough trade negotiations over Brexit fishing rights, his Europe minister warned yesterday. Clément Beaune quoted as saying, we will not accept a bad deal, and a bad deal in fisheries in particular. Clément Beaune, a close ally of Emmanuel Macron, will have no weakness on this issue of fisheries. That is clear. And The Sun with another report saying a Brexit trade deal could be torpedoed at the last minute as France and Spain join forces to threaten a veto. The two countries are demanding absolutely no change to the level of access their fishermen have to operate in British waters, and warn they wouldn't agree to any Brexit deal that disrupts that. So it seems to me that some very hardline positions within the EU. They've still not quite woken up and smelt the coffee yet. It looks like we could be heading for no deal, but the critical question, I guess, on the UK side is, number one, will Lord Frost and Boris Johnson hold firm, or will they cave in? And the second point is, will they stick to the 15th of October deadline, or is it going to come and go, and are we going to see this drift on and on and on? Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think again about the UK accusing the EU of running down the clock. Do you trust this government to deliver on Brexit? Do you think we're going to have no deal? Do you think there's going to be a sellout? Let me know in the comments below as ever, guys. And if you've enjoyed this report, if it's been helpful and informative for you, please remember to click that thumbs up button. That really helps me out. Click subscribe and the bell. And of course, guys, as ever, thank you very much for watching.